All right, we should be in the building. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What a crazy 24 hours it has been. Shout out to the gang. Happy hump day to y'all. Happy Wednesday. It's good to see everybody in here. Hopefully y'all are doing well. And welcome. Let me get my chair right. Welcome to another YouTube live stream. If you could please drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We're about to get into this crazy show today. We've got some breaking news with what's going on in this investigation into the Nancy Guthrie disappearance, abduction, whatever it is at this point. We've got an updated ransom letter we're going to talk about. We've got some movement in that Bitcoin address that was supposedly from the ransom note writers, or from the people who allegedly abducted Nancy. And then of course we're going to hear, as many of y'all have heard, from the suspect who was arrested and taken by police and then released later. I'm sure this man is not happy about that. But before we get into it, I gotta say what's up to the people. Good morning to everyone that's in here. Of course, we've got my beautiful, awesome, amazing Amy E doing what she does, and that's be amazing. Make sure, if y'all haven't yet, go subscribe to Amy's channel. The link is in the description as well as in the chat. Thank you to Amy for everything that she does for this show. She's absolutely amazing. Y'all go show her some love and check her out on X too. Excuse me. We also got Taco Tuesday in here a day late, and it's always Taco Tuesday around here, so shout out Taco Tuesday. Les Cleaver's in the building. We've got A Fitz. Mary is in here as well. Good to see everyone in the building. Now, you all know I do not ask for much on this show, but the number one thing I do ask is that you all like the video on your way in. Likes are free, helps the channel continue to grow. It lets the algorithm know that you guys are enjoying the show, shares the video, the channel, this live stream with many more people. And I see so many of y'all already. 600 plus of you have liked the video, which is insane. And we haven't even gotten started. So I know y'all are ready for a good time. Also, if you're feeling extra generous, you can share the video as well. Just click the share button. You can share it to any social media platform that you're on. You can also share it to your group chat via text message. So thank you to those of you that do that. And last but not least, we will be reading super chats as we go throughout the show. So thank you again to everybody that sends in the super chat. Y'all really help support the channel, help keep the lights on here on the show as well. So thank you for the love. And let's go ahead and get into it. I need to take a sip of water because this cough is not leaving me alone. So we're going to try and figure it out as we go throughout the show. So y'all bear with me. Thank you for your patience on that as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. We do have some breaking news when it comes to what's going on in the Nancy Guthrie investigation, we'll call it at this point. So as we heard over the last 24 hours, there has been a ton going on when it comes to the Bitcoin address that was allegedly being used by the kidnappers is now maybe seeing some movement. We saw a suspect identified not only by local police, but we've also saw the director of the FBI post some videos and images that we've covered here on this channel. And now we're hearing breaking news from TMZ that they have received a third ransom note that is alleging that somebody knows who Nancy Guthrie's kidnapper is, and they're willing to give that information if they get some money. Now, again, this whole thing is seeming really weird and strange. The fact that there's so many ransom notes going back and forth, the fact that they're going to media, it seems like these people really want money. They probably honestly, in most cases, as usual, don't really care about what's going on with Nancy. They just trying to get paid. So this could be the abductors. It could be someone unrelated. But the fact that they're trying to get money as a result of this is strange and surprising to say the least, especially as we saw someone already arrested, this man named Derek, already arrested for trying to get money out of this situation. So let's see what TMZ has to say on this. Fox News just posted that a third letter was sent to TMZ founder Harvey Levin, and it claims to know who Nancy Guthrie's kidnapper is. Let's go ahead and check this out from TMZ, see what's going on.
She was taken and we don't know where.
Crazy.
And we need your help. If you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation. And we need your help.
So that was late Monday afternoon. This is Wednesday morning, day 11 in the search for Nancy Guthrie. My next guest says he and his team has finally seen activity in a Bitcoin account tied to possibly a ransom note sent to news outlets in Arizona. TMZ founder Harvey Levin's with me now. And Harvey, good morning to you. Terrific work from the very beginning on this. Your outlet received an original letter. You did not receive a second letter where another affiliate did. So by my count, that's 2 letters. And you now report that TMZ has just been sent a 3rd letter. Please explain and describe what you got about 90 minutes ago.
So an hour and a half ago, we got kind of a bizarre letter, an email from somebody who says they know who the kidnapper is and that they have tried reaching Savannah's sister, Annie, and Savannah's brother to no avail. And they said they want 1 Bitcoin sent to a Bitcoin address that we have confirmed is active. It's a real Bitcoin address. As they put it, time is more than relevant. So we have no idea whether this is real or not, but they are making a demand. It's interesting that, you know, Bitcoins fluctuate in value, but it's around $56,000 now, 1 Bitcoin, which is about the amount that the authorities are offering for information leading to the return of Nancy. So I don't know if that aligns, but whoever sent this, and they actually give a name,
they give a name to what?
But whoever sent this is asking for around that amount via Bitcoin for information that they say leads directly to the person.
Let's wait, hold on. This is confusing from Harvey. What is he saying? That the person who sent the email, their name is on the email and it's somehow related to the kidnappers? I gotta run this back again.
That we have confirmed is active. It's a real Bitcoin address. As they put it, time is more than relevant. So we have no idea whether this is real or not, but they are making a demand. It's interesting that, you know, Bitcoins fluctuate in value, but it's around $56,000 now, 1 Bitcoin, which is about the amount that the authorities are offering for information leading to the return of Nancy. So I don't know if that aligns, but whoever sent this, and they actually give a name and an email address, but whoever sent this is asking for around that amount via Bitcoin for information that they say leads directly to the person.
Let's take it a step at a time.
It doesn't make any
Take
sense.
me back to the original letter. I believe you
Someone
were
is
the one
playing
who
games.
said, whoever wrote that letter, I don't think you used the word meticulous, but I'll use that word, suggesting that the grammar was right, the letter was very specific about the requests and the demands. Does this letter have the same form that you saw the first time around?
No, and I don't think this person is purporting to be that person. This person is purporting to be someone who probably wrote that first letter. If the FBI's operating theory is right, that they are going on the assumption that the person who wrote this note
doesn't make sense.
Took Nancy. And so they're not saying they're the kidnappers. They're saying they know who the kidnapper is and will give that information up for 1 Bitcoin.
So again, if that's the case, then these kidnappers are just trying to get money and they really don't want to do anything to Nancy, then at this point, I mean, why don't they just arrange and figure out a meetup? Because we're doing all this talking. We got deadline after deadline after deadline, which I think is why the FBI has somewhat switched to really trying to figure out who these people are. They're not going to do anything to Nancy. They're not going to do anything. Either Nancy's gone or these people just are really broke and need some money, which it seems like that's the case. So now they're sending a 3rd note saying, okay, well, I'm the same person, but I'm still going to give you guys some information on who I am. That doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense.
Again, we looked at this address. It's a pretty bold thing that the address is real.
Okay, there were 2 other Arizona affiliates in Tucson, KGUN9 and another one. Did they also receive this same note? Or do you know?
I don't know. We haven't talked to them.
All right, now, Harvey,
we have sent, we just, you know, Bill, we've sent this on to the FBI already.
Okay, confirmed on that. I watched your interview last night with Sean. You were very careful as to what you said, and I respect that and the contact that you have with authorities. Late last night, there was a Bitcoin address that had $6 million deposited in it. I don't know if that's real or a ruse, but I'm sure
It
you know
happens
of
all
it.
the time.
When you looked at that address, did it match what you saw in letter number 1 from several days ago?
No.
I am not comfortable commenting on this.
Okay, so then it's possible.
That's silly. I mean, Nancy Guthrie said we're ready to pay. They got $6 million. So it doesn't matter. If the $6 million was paid and it was tied to that account, we should be able to know if that. Just say it, Harvey. What are you hiding from? Why can't you say? I guess because it's good promotion. He wants people to keep watching TMZ. I guess I can respect it.
The Bitcoin address that was requested turned out to be this particular one. And that would
I wouldn't read anything. I wouldn't read anything into this.
Okay, so if the suggestion that money was paid may not necessarily be the case. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.
Savannah said they were going to pay it.
The camera video that was sent out yesterday, does it make sense for you as to why the FBI would give you this image and that image, but they would not give us the image of the camera being ripped away? And based on some inside reporting, it's been suggested that whoever was standing in front of that door took the doorbell camera with them. It seems to me if they were familiar with that house, they would have known there was a camera there when they approached it. And this whole idea about taking these flowers and sticking over the camera lens, it seems a little foolhardy to me. And if you're right about the initial letter, that they were so careful in the way they constructed the letter itself, this wouldn't match the meticulous nature of
That's a great
that first
point.
individual. How do we make sense of that, Harvey?
You see it exactly the way I see it. I could not agree with you more the way you put it, that the just the thought that went into this letter doesn't match the thought of somebody coming up fully disguised,
exactly,
knowing that they don't want to be seen, and not even thinking, gee, people have these cameras on their door. You know, you don't have to even have cased her door or property to just make an assumption that she may well have a camera like that, and you should be ready to somehow block it. You know,
it doesn't make any sense.
Cardboard, have something to immediately block it. And this person walks up almost surprised that there is a camera there, and then walks over and stoops down in the garden area, grabs some shrubs. I agree with you. It just does not align.
And I've seen there are a lot of robberies, guys. People don't carefully cover the camera and make sure everything's okay. No, you're yanking that thing off the wall, smashing it. I mean, maybe they just were trying to be quiet, not make any noise. This video seems weird to me. I'm not going to put my tinfoil hat on now about this entire video, but something doesn't look right to me. It doesn't look normal. It doesn't look like normal human behavior. So either this person was just walking around the neighborhood, there may be something mentally wrong or mentally there, because a person robbing a house, you see a camera, that you don't just nonchalantly go about trying to cover it up with a bush. Doesn't make any sense.
Let me ask another question about some of the activity around Annie Guthrie's house last night. Our reporters have been there. They saw him poking around in different areas, different neighbors' yards and the backyards there, and apparently some of them readily gave access to the FBI. Let me ask you an uncomfortable question. Do we know the status of the relationship between Annie and her husband?
And Annie and who?
Her husband.
Look, no. And look, I know why you're asking this, and let's just put it on the table. There have been all sorts of, you know, reports, especially on social media. People are talking about who it could be. I have absolutely no basis to even raise that. And I'm not saying it's true or not true, but I've done checking the way everybody else has, and so far I just don't have any information to give it credibility or shoot it down.
Okay.
What? I don't know what Harvey's got going on. This makes no sense. This makes no sense, him saying that about Annie and about Tommaso or Tomato, as some of y'all are saying. They were the last ones to see her alive. Somebody dropped her off at the house and then she disappeared. What do you mean there's nothing there to think that they had something to do with this? We haven't heard a statement from them. We've heard Annie read maybe 1 or 2 words. And this is something that I forgot to mention the last time we covered this. Remember, I told you guys, wait until the next video comes out and see who was in that video. The last video we saw, it was Savannah by herself. It was interesting to see that since the first video and the second video, there's really been no sign of Annie. Obviously, for obvious reasons, because they're being investigated, because people are saying that maybe they had something to do with it, and then she was the last one to see her mother alive. That's, to me, that's all of the evidence you need to look into them. That's why they're being investigated. So for Harvey to say, oh, well, you know, there's really nothing there for me to say either way. Of course there is. They dropped her off at the house and we haven't heard from Nancy since. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments in the chat. I'm sure we're going to have some more news and updates when it comes to Nancy later on today and throughout the day. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Thank you to everyone that's in here. All 1,200 of y'all. This, again, listen, I think it's interesting the way this is playing out and the way these kidnappers or alleged kidnappers or scammers are going about this. We had Derek, what was his name? Derek C. I'm just going to call him Derek C. The one that sent the, Kalella. We had Derek Kalella. He was the first one that sent allegedly a fake ransom note and said he wanted some money too. Don't know why he thought he was going to get away with it, but still weird. Now we have somebody that's saying they have information on Nancy and they want Bitcoin in a certain amount. That's still weird. Because again, they're trying to get paid first. The FBI says, give us the information and then we'll give you the money. Seems pretty straightforward. So again, I don't know what's going on here. I feel like Harvey, I don't know why he's being so secretive about stuff that's information that's already out there. Like, dude, just tell, is it involved or not? What are you being so secretive for? I mean, you could say we believe that. It's not like TMZ has the greatest credibility in the world anyway. All right. And shout out to Harvey Levin. I ain't mad at it. That was commenting Harvey. I don't know what he said. Y'all said you can't stand Harvey. That's understandable. Listen, guys, I don't ask for much on this channel, but please make sure you like the video. We've got over 700 likes. So thank y'all. We're almost at 100% likes. Listen, likes are free. It just takes a second to like the video. I know it's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt you. I promise. And you're going to have a good time here. We've got some great conversation, some great content, and y'all make sure you're interacting in the chat as well, because I love y'all being a part of the show and reading comments in here too. Actually, let's read a couple. I will release Guthrie in exchange for a lifetime supply of cheese sandwiches. I mean, what are we doing here? Harvey is an idiot. Well, all right. I think that's taking it a little far. Shout out to Attorney Mom. Lately, I don't know, man. I had never been a big TMZ watcher, but obviously as we've been reporting the news and as I'm becoming more news focused, TMZ pops up a lot. And some of the things Harvey is saying and some of his takes lately seem a little bit more respectfully old manish. So I don't know what he got going on. The first person we heard who dropped her off was the son-in-law. That's all the reason that you need. I tell the kidnappers to keep her. Dang! That's tough. I don't think the kidnappers are doing anything. Kidnappers don't seem like they're about that life. You set a deadline. Oh, it's going to get ugly. Nothing happened. You set another deadline. Oh, it's going to be bad. Nothing happened. Now, do we have another deadline? I haven't heard anything about that. The 5 p.m. deadline passed on Monday, and we haven't heard about deadlines. We haven't heard from the kidnappers, and allegedly the kidnappers aren't connecting or contacting FBI. They aren't contacting local police. They aren't contacting Savannah and her family. So Yeah, just be like, all right, reverse psychology, just keep her. Keep her. Yeah, we're good. Good luck. They want to get paid. I used to love TMZ as mindless TV, but I can't stand it now. Yeah, you educated now. Shout out to Kel Bell, the honorable attorney Kel Bell in the building. I don't know what they've got going on, but Harvey's, I don't know. It has not been it. So now we've got another interesting topic we're going to get into. With everything that's been going on with Nancy Guthrie's investigation, we're now hearing that Bitcoin address, not only may it be tied to the third ransom letter that we just heard about, but there may be some movement there. Maybe people are sending money to the account who aren't involved in this at all. It could be a test to see that the wallet is actually accessible and where that money is going to go. So maybe this is the FBI using this to see if they can trace the person or find them. We don't know, but it looks like there has been some movement in that Bitcoin wallet address, and we're going to hear about it here from Fox News. Let me know what you guys think.
Let's bring in Kurt Knudsen, the cyber guy. Kurt, thank you so much for joining us. So there is still the ransom note and the Bitcoin account. An update on that from Harvey Levin, who said this to Sean Hannity yesterday. Watch.
It was just before 4 o'clock LA time, 7 o'clock Eastern time. There was activity for the first time, Sean, in that Bitcoin account, the link of which is in that first ransom letter that we obtained. We've been checking it every few minutes, and for the first time it surfaced. Well, it's a little bit confusing to me, and I'll explain why. This letter, Sean, is so well constructed. I read it and think this is a really intelligent person who knows how to express a thought. They have thought
ChatGPT. Come on, guys.
This out. They are to the point. They cover everything they need to cover. And then you look at this, and there's something bumbling about it, where the person who is shown right there took enough care to completely cover himself, except for seeing a mustache and either a goatee or a beard. And yet he doesn't realize that there's a camera on that door, and that suddenly surprises him enough that he has to go over, stoop down, and grab some brush to try and cover the camera. That doesn't align.
And again, guys, I'm gonna be honest. I said I wasn't gonna put my tinfoil hat on. I don't believe this video. I don't think this video is real. And again, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. This video does not make sense in so many ways. It doesn't make sense while they're walking up with their head down. It doesn't make sense they didn't do more to hide the camera. It doesn't even make sense how this person is moving and how they're using shrubbery to cover up the camera. I wonder, I don't know if you could get access to the home. I'd be interested to see if it looks like the shrubbery surrounding or the fern or whatever they use to cover up the camera is there if it had been displaced. I don't like the video. It doesn't make sense to me. But again, that's another rabbit hole we could go down in another video.
He doesn't realize that there's a camera on that door, and that suddenly surprises him enough that he has to go over, stoop down,
doesn't make sense,
and grab some brush to try and cover the camera. That doesn't align to me with somebody as methodical as what I believe the person who wrote that note.
And Kurt, apparently there was activity in this Bitcoin account. A local outlet is reporting to the tune of a small transfer of potentially under $300. So what does that tell you about where things stand with the Bitcoin and ransom note element of this story?
Probably wasn't Bitcoin.
I mean, here's the range we're looking at. Carly, good morning to you. $300 into the Bitcoin account. First of all, let me just explain how Bitcoin works. Once you establish that wallet, essentially you're going to go to an exchange. You're going to fund it from your bank or however you get the money in there to convert it into Bitcoin. And then it's going to then give you a wallet, and then that's what lets you essentially pour those funds into. And then you're going to aim that at whoever you want. On their end, they have that wallet. They are able to receive it, unlock it, and then move the funds wherever they want. Now, in the middle of all of this is where we're at, which is the wallet's been created. It's active, but it's also very, very public. which means that anybody could have put $300 in that account. There's nothing stopping Joe Schmo and the public from putting $300 in there. However, if you're maybe one of the Guthrie facilitators who's setting this up, is this the moment you say, hey, just before we do anything more, let's make sure this Bitcoin wallet is seeing the money we're putting into, and they go ahead and try to put in about $300 to see if indeed they see it there, or maybe it was some signal to be sent to another party to say, look, as a goodwill of gesture to tell you that we're complying, we've already just thrown in $300 to show you we're ready to use it, it's ready to get to you. So there's a variety of possibilities related to the Bitcoin blockchain, which, again, public-facing, which, we're looking at this time.
Yeah, or Kurt, could this be an effort by law enforcement to try and trace where this Bitcoin account is located?
That's exactly
and
what I
behind
thought.
this? Because we have heard that these accounts can be traceable.
Yeah, so that's called a dust attack. So many times criminals will play off a scheme, which is, they'll say deposit $300 into it and then reach out to you and say, oh, I made a mistake. I accidentally sent $300 to your account. Can you send it back to me? Well, as soon as you do that, you're revealing a whole bunch of information about how to access that wallet. So did investigators do this as a possibility? Maybe. You can get additional information if you do interact with the wallet. Many times people do that to trace it a little bit better. So I wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah, but again, they have everything they need if they want to get a subpoena. They have the wallet address. Then they should be able to go to the exchange that the wallet's listed on. Then from there, they should be able to find out who created the account, what email was used. If it's tied to an untraceable email, then you can go from there. But I don't know. To me, this seems like possibly police or law enforcement in some way could be using this to try and see if they use it, if they take the money out. Because again, I will continue to say, I believe these people are hurting for money and they're not intending on doing anything to Nancy. They just want to get paid, obviously.
If the Guthrie family does send the $6 million, is there any way that they could ever receive that money back in return?
Yeah, so if you look back at, a lot of people think once these cryptocurrency transactions happen, that they're not traceable, and once the money's gone, it's gone.
That's not true.
Not always the case. If you look back at the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack, that's a very similar scenario where criminals said, hey, we're cutting off the oil supply here in the U.S. in this one area unless you pay us a bunch of money. So they paid a bunch of money. Well, investigators were watching that trail. And boy, it could be months, maybe even years from now, where they finally reveals where that money went. Wow. And in this particular case, they got back north of 80% of the original amount of money that was transferred to the criminals. So anything's possible on the back end. Does it happen routinely? No. Yeah. But yes, where investigators are going to look in this case, if indeed the Guthrie family funds this wallet to pay ransom, is on the back end where the criminals receive it. And then at that point, they need to determine what are they going to do with it? Where are they going to route that to turn it into real money?
Yeah, and obviously this money is secondary to finding Nancy Guthrie, which is the primary focus. And yesterday there was this surveillance video that was, of course, released. And you have a note saying that if the person who is in this footage disabled the Nest camera, then he was potentially responsible for saving the video that incriminates himself. What do you mean by that?
It's very interesting, and I don't know the answer to whether or not he was successful at disabling that Nest camera at the door that you see him interacting with. But that interesting possibility with that front door video footage, some of these Nest cameras are built in a way so that they're not connected to the cloud. They're still storing information. They call it buffering information on the device itself. True. Up to about an hour's worth of video in some cases. When at that moment you put that disabled camera or disconnected camera back into a subscription form to the cloud, that device will often just upload that last buffered video. Now, because it may have been disabled, it's going to preserve that last chunk of video where otherwise If someone would have left it alone, it's going to continue to write over itself as time goes by. So an interesting possibility with this, we're trying to dig deeper to find out if that is indeed what happened. And then also, is this that Generation Nest device that would have done that? So we're not quite sure yet.
Yeah, technology.
Yeah, again, that doesn't make sense to me either, because it was said and it was implied when we heard the press release about where they got the actual footage from. And Kash Patel said this himself, that they were able to get it through another source, meaning that they got it through most likely Nest. They had it on their backup servers, their backup servers. And then that's why they were able to get the information. Interesting stuff. Don't know if there's anything there with this $300 transfer. It could be the police testing something out. It could be Nancy Guthrie and her family trying it to make sure that they can actually send something. Maybe they're in communication with the kidnappers saying, hey, I'm going to send $300 just to make sure I did this right. It's possible. Let me know what you guys think in the comments and in the chat. We got 2,000 of y'all up in this thing. I want to see what some of you are saying. Please make sure y'all like the video. I'm going to keep begging for likes. You know why? Because it takes less than a second to do and it's free. All right. So just like the video. I promise it won't hurt you. And it's definitely appreciated. So thank you to everybody that's done that. I want to see exactly what Kash Patel said. I'm trying to go back here. I guess I could just go to his X account, which, isn't it crazy? The director of the FBI is putting out a press release on X. Like, what a world we live in where that's what's happening. Kash Patel said, where is it? He said, I want to quote him exactly. Working with our part. Let's see. Over the last 8 days, the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department have been working closely with our private sector partners to continue to recover any images or video footage from Nancy Guthrie's home that may have been lost, corrupted, or inaccessible. Excuse me, I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. Or inaccessible due to a variety of factors, including the removal of the recording device. The video was recovered from residual data located in backend systems. So again, the guy we just heard, maybe it's just they don't listen as well. I don't know, but this wouldn't have been recovered from anything other than the backup servers that I have been saying before these companies store the information on. I know everybody, thank you for the bless you. Everybody is, oh man, everybody is talking about what's going on with Ring and their Super Bowl commercial, where you can basically opt in to letting Ring access your camera so that they can see what's going on if people want to find their lost dog. And people were outraged because it's like, whoa, wait, you guys have the ability to remotely monitor my cameras? Well, yeah, that's what the entire company is. So interesting to see what's going on there. We've covered a lot of cases where this is just well-known facts that these companies, a lot of them, they back up your information for a certain amount of time and then it goes away. So this is why I was saying it makes no sense that they would say, oh, the cameras, we don't have the cameras, we can't get anything. All of this is cloud-based and you really can't use it or access it if it's not connected to the cloud. It didn't make any sense to me. Thank you for the bless yous. On your thumbnail, you have a, oh, I have a typo. Oh, Dan, thank you for calling that. I appreciate it. I will fix that. Oh, I put it as, how would you pronounce that? THRID. Thrid. I be typing too fast. Thank you for the, I will fix that. Thank you so much. It's going to be fixed here in the next minute. If they were able to recover the video of the suspect, I want to know if they can recover a video and timestamp of when she got dropped off or went in. Great point. Because what did they say initially? What did the Pima County Sheriff's Department say initially when they were like, oh, we can't recover the data. Sorry, guys. It's just, you know, technical difficulties and stuff. I knew that was a lie. We called it out here on the channel. What did they say? They said there was a timestamp at 2:48. And then a couple minutes later that they saw activity. There was also the activity they saw with someone entering the garage and then leaving a garage. I think it was a 2-minute window there. And I wish I would have kept that information. But regardless, the point is the other cameras that were in the home, not only were they left recording while this person broke into their house initially, but there would have been information from those cameras that would have still been recording and would have still been triggered and were triggered according to the Pima County Sheriff's Department. So with that being said, where's that footage? Is the FBI working on getting that? Is there a reason they haven't released it? Probably because it shows somebody on there and they're still looking and trying to figure out and find out how that person was involved. Tomato. That's a given of what they can see on the back end. Yeah, you have backup servers for literally everything. If it's online, it goes to a backup server at some point. I don't care what anybody says, whether it's Signal or not. I mean, we have Michael Proctor, 13 years of his iCloud data just popped up out of nowhere. God, come on now. We know they should be able to find this. And thank you for letting me know that there was a typo in the thumbnail. I truly appreciate y'all helping me out. I read one of the comments that strangers are putting money into the Bitcoin account to see if they will withdraw the money, at which point it then becomes traceable. Well, if that's the case, then the money's not going to be withdrawn. And I mean, even if the $6 million were deposited today, I cannot imagine. I can't imagine the FBI, and if we want to talk about the NSA, making that money, making that easily accessible until Nancy Guthrie is returned. So that person, either they need to be out of the country or Nancy needs to be returned. But either way, they're not going to send the $6 million and then the person withdraws the money because they're going to get caught. You'll be able to find the IP address. They'll be able to get their exact location, and then they're going to be caught. Unless they've just left Nancy somewhere and they're already out of the country. That's probable as well. So again, I mean, who knows? We don't know. So the brother-in-law hasn't been seen in a week. Yeah, almost over a week now. And his band's profile came down the other day after Nancy disappeared. When you see something described as smart, run the other way. I suspect for every good feature, there's a non-public bad feature. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes. Which, speaking of Kash Patel, we're going to hear from the good old FBI director. Again, not the biggest Kash Patel fan. I'm a fan of a lot of and many of the things that are happening with this administration, but Kash Patel is not one of them. We know Pam Bondi is actually speaking right now, and I probably should have covered that because she's probably over there going off. But we're not going to talk about that today. We got to talk about what's going on with Nancy. Amy says, I heard the ski mask was found. An individual called 911 that they found a ski mask that resembled the video in their alley near their garage. Man, if they dumped the ski mask, that would be the dumbest thing in the entire world. But again, the person we saw in the video didn't look very smart. They're like, oh man, there's a camera at the front door. Come on. And Amy said an individual called 911 this morning. Crazy. Is TMZ's viewership so low that they have to insert themselves into this? I mean, somebody's putting them into it because they're receiving these ransom notes, which is wild. So if you look at the front door and on the ground in front of the front door, the shrubs are laying there crunched up. It shows it in the photo of Nancy's house the next day. And again, I've got 11 bookmarks here. That makes me want to go back and see if I can find, let me see here. I want to see if I can find those initial photos. Maybe he's used to holding things in his mouth. Oh, whoa. Yo, chill, Amy. Relax. Here we go. Let's look at this. So we're going to look at it just because that's what you do on the live stream. So I meant to share this the other day. It says the blood trail outside Nancy Guthrie's front door is confirmed to go all the way to the end of her of her front walkway to the driveway, as it can be seen in this video. Increasingly, there is no vehicle parked in the driveway, seen in the footage released by the FBI. Did a vehicle later pull up to the end of the path? So let's look at this video. I mean, you can see. I mean, you can see here. It looks like something's missing there. It's hard to tell from this angle.
Not.
And they drug her out the front door. Amazon package that was brought up. Blood. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, if you look right there, if this was done evenly, it looks like there may be a spot where something was missing. Amy's wilding over there. I think it's a pin light that you turn on with your tongue. Great for mechanics. Yeah, I've seen those before. I'd be thankful if the perpetrator really discarded the ski mask carelessly. This screams DNA. The FBI should be all over that and soon should yield valuable clues. We'll have to wait and see. I'm telling you, it was a planned murder. Took the body, dumped the reports of kidnapping, has sent everyone in the wrong direction, and the killer is happy to have the distraction. Hey, listen, I've thought that theory as well. And people were getting mad at me on social media and on this channel for saying alleged kidnapping. And I'll still say it today because we don't know if it was a kidnapping. We don't know if something happened to Nancy in the house. And honestly, we can clearly and definitively say something happened to Nancy in the house. With why is there blood in the doorway at the front porch that belonged to her? We don't know if there's blood inside. Man, the kidnapper looks like the man who is asking for a ransom. Let me see. Have you seen the guy in a previously armed burglaries who holds a flashlight in their mouth while holding a gun? I've not seen that. The blue and white package was in the initial photographs of the blood spots and was immediately no longer in the picture. Was the sheriff and the FBI not bright enough to remember when they picked that up? Yep. Excuse me. It would surely be difficult to use a gun with those gloves. They sure looked weird. I don't know. I mean, maybe Nancy, God forbid, got pistol whipped as they were taking her out of the house. Who knows? Let's hear from the FBI director and see what he has to say. So again, Kash Patel is talking about what's going on with this investigation into Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. We heard from him earlier when he released the photos and the videos of the suspect they have in this case. And now he's going to go on to Fox News and talk about what's happening with the progress, what they're seeing, and basically just do his FBI director thing and say, hey guys, we're looking into it. We're doing stuff. See, let's see what he had to say here.
FBI played a very big role in being able to retrieve this tape. Can you let me run it back. Director Kash Patel with more details on tonight's breaking news. Director Patel, great to have you as always. Thank you for being here. Obviously, this is the big break we've been waiting for. I know the FBI played a very big role in being able to retrieve this tape. Can you give us some background on how you were able to do that?
Yeah, Sean, look, it's great to be with you, and it was great to be, in the ground in Arizona with our FBI teams leading the charge with the local law enforcement there. Things like this happen when you have great partnerships with the private sector. And because President Trump delivered these great partnerships with these private sector companies, we were able to execute lawful searches and go to these private sector companies and expedite results and then go into their systems and actually excavate material that people would think would normally be deleted and no one would look for.
Not these people. We know what's up.
Without getting into too many of the details, that's how the FBI worked with our private sector partners to pull out material that people thought didn't even exist because of the specific type of subscription service on the Ring doorbell. But thanks to this brilliant partnership, we were able to get it out, sharpen it with our technical capabilities at the FBI, and put it out to the world. Because as you were just talking about, this investigation of this magnitude was going to require the public's assistance, which is why we put it out nearly immediately, the video, the photos, and sharpened images. And we continue to receive tips, and we encourage all Americans to provide any and all tips. And based upon that, we were able to expand the investigation and take the appropriate next steps, which is what we're doing and what you're seeing unfold.
And again, I'm looking at this video again. If you look at when the person turns the flashlight on, whoever they are, let me see if I could find that video. When they turn the flashlight on, when they're first walking up, it looks like they knew that the step was there, because you see them click the flashlight on, click the flashlight off when they notice that the step is there. So again, could this be somebody who's pretending like they didn't know? I'm gonna play it right here. Pretending like they're a stranger, but they knew that step was there. Watch
that
this.
People thought didn't even exist because of the specific type of...
You see right there, they click the light on to see where the step is, and then they step up onto the front porch. Interesting.
And basically, without getting into too many of the details, that's how the FBI worked with our private sector partners to pull out material that people thought didn't even exist because of the specific type of subscription service on the Ring doorbell. But thanks to this brilliant partnership, we were able to get it out, sharpen it with our technical capabilities at the FBI, and put it out to the world. Because as you were just talking about, this investigation of this magnitude was going to require the public's assistance, which is why we put it out nearly immediately, the video, the photos, and sharpened images. And we continue to receive tips, and we encourage all Americans to provide any and all tips. And based upon that, we were able to expand the investigation and take the appropriate next steps, which is what we're doing and what you're seeing unfold.
Okay, was the FBI involvement, there have been reports, was it delayed?
Well, Sean, in a kidnapping case or missing persons case, it's always a state and local law enforcement matter. And we had always offered our assistance from the beginning, taking our cues from local law enforcement. And so we've tried and we've been there and offered all resources. We've surged assets. I've put personnel and tactical units there in Arizona to make sure local law enforcement has what they need. But at the end of the day, the FBI is the only one who has the capabilities and the technical discipline to go in there and assist local law enforcement to get this type of information. And not only were we able to get this type of information, but we were able to exploit information pursuant to our private sector partner engagements that showed us that there might be persons of interest in and around the area related to this event. And so first and foremost, our priority is to find Nancy Guthrie. And of course, right behind that is to find anyone and any others involved in this kidnapping case to make sure they're brought to justice. And that's what we're doing. We're protecting the integrity of the investigation, but we're also being very public because it's a very public-facing case. And as President Trump...
Yeah, and y'all are asking about the timestamps. No timestamps on these, which is a great question that I'm seeing. Also, again, with this video and with what Cash is saying, I mean, it's great that all this is happening, but we know they would have had to show these to the family first, because they wouldn't want to tip off someone if it was a family member and say, hey, y'all know who this is? Tommaso, is that you? And then they would release it to the public. So them releasing it to the public is a clear identifier that they want to find this person. They need help looking for him.
Like I said, all resources have been dedicated to this investigation. They're going to continue on the ground, getting everything and absolutely anything they need from the FBI.
Director Patel, can I ask you just straight up, do you believe there are people of interest now? Have we gotten to that point? Are there potential suspects now out there?
Sean, without polluting the investigation, I will say we have made substantial progress in these last 36, 48 hours thanks to the technical capabilities of the FBI and our partnerships. And I do believe we are looking at people who, as we say, are persons of interest. But as you know, with any investigation, you are a person of interest until you're either eliminated or you're actually found to be the culprit or the culprits involved. And that's the stage we're at right now.
Well, what can you tell us about the timing of apparently people now around her being swabbed for DNA? I would assume that maybe some people are even being brought in. There has been no confirmation that they're being given lie detector tests. Can you confirm the truth of those reports?
Sean, I can generally say this. We are going to interview and interrogate absolutely every single person that we think is involved with this or has information related to this. And we're going to use all of our capabilities without divulging them to advance this investigation. And that's what you saw play out here. In these last 36 hours, the FBI showed up, worked with our partners in a private sector, exploited and excavated data that people thought were missing and deleted, enhanced it, put it out to the public, got tips, led to further information and exploitation, and led to further interviews. And we're not stopping. My team is on the ground. We're working through the night. And none of those guys that I've talked to when I was in Arizona,
Cash, you ain't doing nothing. Come on now.
Slept in a week, and they're not going to sleep because this case is of the most importance to the American public, and we are going to continue working to make sure we give the American public the answers, and most importantly, to the Guthrie family, hopefully the return of their mother and the modicum of justice that they deserve after this horrific event.
Cash is acting like he's been on the ground. He's not out
spotted, there. Combing low-lying desert brush near Annie Guthrie's home. What can you tell us about the neighborhood around Savannah's sister, Annie Guthrie's neighborhood, as the SWAT team rolled out from the sheriff department, if anything?
Look, that's just what the FBI does. We're not taking any chances. We're going out there and combing neighborhoods and swaths of territory where we think there might be possible information, and we're going to go out and talk to anyone who has information or we believe has information in this or is involved in this tangentially or otherwise. And we're going to continue to develop those leads, continue to serve legal process, continue to work with our private sector partners, and continue to produce as much information publicly as we can, Sean. And you know this is the key, while upholding the integrity of the investigation so that we can get to a conclusion here and hopefully return Nancy Guthrie to her family and find the culprit or culprits that are involved.
All right, what do y'all think about this? Shout out to the figurehead Cash Patel out here saying that they're working tirelessly to find Nancy. And I think the FBI, let's give them some credit. They've done a way better investigation than local police have. We haven't heard from Sheriff Nanos because, as I mentioned before, I think he's butthurt that the FBI took over, and as well they should have. He completely botched the beginning of this. I was shocked at the way even Sheriff Nanos handled the press conference, was saying, yeah, usually these things don't turn out well. I was like, man, hey, don't say that right now. Nancy could still be alive. And he was sounding very defeated and like, yeah, sorry, guys, she might not make it. But either way, the FBI is doing something here. Cash Patel, I don't agree with everything that was said, but he has a point when it comes to this video and it being a key factor into finding Nancy Guthrie's kidnappers. Let me know what y'all think in the comments and in the chat. Wow. Shout out to the gang, man. There's 2,000 of y'all in here, and excuse me, many of y'all are showing so much love. Shout out to the man down under, my guy Stephen G out there in Australia. He says, hey, ClassE, this smells like the Charlie Kirk story. Oh, man. Arresting the wrong guy. Except in this case, you know, we're going to talk about Carlos coming up next. We're going to talk about Mr. Carlos and him being detained by the police. Except they hunted this man down and found him and were like, hey, were you involved? Are you the one that did it? They arrested him, didn't say what happened. We're going to talk about it here in a second. So that's the difference. You don't really have someone coming forward and saying, oh, yeah, I'm the one who did it. I took Nancy. This guy was just minding his own business, driving down the street, and then got arrested. So I think that's, excuse me, that's somewhat of the difference, but I get your point. Also, shout out to the beautiful, awesome, amazing Amy E dropping the cake in the building. Thank you, Amy, for the super sticker. Reminding me it's close to lunchtime and that she has the cakiest cake in the building. So thank you to Amy. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. We got Ducky Dexter in here as well. Has been a member for 5 months and says, just saying hello. Shout out to all the members in here. Yeah, figurehead Cash Patel. He'd just be up there talking. Thank you to Ducky Dexter. If y'all haven't checked out the members only content, make sure you do that. You get so many benefits from being a member. You get instant access to all the videos we drop here on the channel. You get your name highlighted in that beautiful green as well. And you get to use your custom milestone memberships along with a bunch of other stuff. So thank you to Ducky Dexter for always showing up. Brian has an update that just came through. Okay, we'll have to check out and see what Brian's talking about. Nancy never went home from the daughters. Her blood was planted there. The kidnapper is an inept plant fool. It's possible. Something feels off. Everything feels off. Everything feels off about this. Let's be clear. I noticed the FBI doesn't talk about the ransom anymore. Do you believe the ransom was real? I personally believe the ransom is real. I think the only reason that we're here is because of money. I don't think Nancy's going to be harmed. Again, the sense of urgency has been lost in this, and there's a reason for that. The FBI stepped in, they told Pima County to keep their mouth shut, and that's exactly what Sheriff Nanos did. The sense of urgency is gone because I think a lot of what our intuition is telling us and what a lot of us have been saying, and what I've been saying on this channel, is just that these people just want money. Why haven't we heard about Nancy and her heart issues and her medication? Did they take the medication with her? Has she been fine? If she has daily medicine she was supposed to take, why aren't we talking about that? Even Savannah Guthrie's video that we saw on Monday, I'm not going to say she seemed chill, but she seemed a lot less, let's just say, stressed than she was in the other videos, which to me means the FBI is having conversations and saying, listen, these people, they just want to get paid. It is what it is. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. Those are just my theories. Nancy has already been harmed, allegedly. We don't know that for sure. One daughter, well, I guess she was harmed probably emotionally since she got woken up out of her bed. Amy says supposedly the sheriff will give a press conference in 20 minutes. Amy's waiting on a confirmation. We'll have to see. Does anyone think the bad guy looks feminine? I said that when we saw the video and reacted to it here live. I thought the eyebrows looked a little too done for a dude. That person looked like they had just gotten their eyebrows done. But that could have been the lining of the hat. It's hard to tell from that black and white video. But yeah, I could pull this up for y'all too if you want to see it. That's a great call out though. Oh, shout out to Virginia Wiley, also celebrating a membership milestone of 8 months. Thank you, Virginia Wiley. Says, I'm so happy to be a part of the best YouTube channel around. Oh, come on now. Sending sincere prayers for the Guthrie family. Yes, we are as well. I agree. And thank you for being a member for 8 months. I appreciate that. That's amazing. And we'll wait on Amy to give that update as well, because if Sheriff Nanos is about to get up there, you know we got to talk about that. But let me pull up these pictures and I want to find out what y'all think about this before we get into what's going on with Mr. Carlos. So these are the pictures again. And I was looking at this area here, and even the eyelashes in this picture, it looks somewhat feminine, but again, the build doesn't look like a woman to me. But this person is built like a guy. But could that all be a part of, I don't know, could that all be a part of the cover up? It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. Brian Enton posted that the Pima County Sheriff won't be giving a press conference. Okay, we'll wait and see. Guys can have their brow work done. Yeah, but I mean, okay, that's true, but still. Maybe that's a hint. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, a lot of information that still needs to be explained. A lot of this is all weird. Let's go ahead and get into our next topic here. Again, thank y'all for liking the video. There's still 2,000 of you in here. If you haven't liked the video yet, please do that. It's free. Okay, I'm going to keep begging. We're almost out 100% likes. I know you can do it. Brian Enton just reported. Amy says no schedule a press conference today despite the rumors. Okay, so there it is. Thank you to Amy for that update as well. Let me double check and make sure we have all this and we're good to go. So we've got to talk about the man that was detained by the police in this Nancy Guthrie investigation. We're going to talk about Carlos. We're going to get into it in a second, and he's going to tell his entire story of how he was found and taken by the police. There was a lot of speculation about the SWAT team that was deployed, where they were deployed to, and why they were being sent out. of Pima County to find someone. And if they were looking for somebody and who they were looking for related to the Nancy Guthrie case, we found out they were looking for this man, Carlos. He's going to explain in detail what happened from his perspective. And then we're going to hear potentially why the police were looking into this. Seems like someone maybe gave a tip and said this guy might be involved. Let's check this out from Fox News.
Straight to a Fox News alert overnight. Police releasing a man after detaining and questioning him in connection with the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie.
And just a few hours ago, local and federal officials wrapping up a court-ordered search at a home in Rio Rico, Arizona. That's about an hour away from Nancy Guthrie's house in Tucson and about 15 miles from the U.S.-Mexico border.
This all comes after the FBI released home security video of an armed and masked man approaching Guthrie's home the night she was abducted 11 days ago. You are watching Fox and Friends First on this Wednesday morning. I'm Carly Shipkiss.
And I'm Todd Pyro. Let's go right to Matt Finn, live in Rio Rico. And he has a new interview with the man who was just released by investigators, heard for the very first time.
Poor Carlos. I can't imagine.
Matt.
Good morning, guys. Not only is it quiet here right now, it's pitch black. There was a search here earlier tonight. There were investigators, the blue and red lights, police tape up, what appeared to be, a very controlled, intent search. And then all of a sudden, investigators left, and we spoke to a man who identified himself as Carlos. He told us that he was the man who was detained for questioning in a traffic stop in relation to the Nancy Guthrie case. He says he is a free man and has nothing to do with Nancy's disappearance. Here is our interaction with Carlos.
Okay. What were they asking you about?
Where my whereabouts.
Okay.
Where do I work? Where was I and all that? But
are you ever up in Tucson?
Yeah, I work in Tucson.
What do you do?
GLS, deliver packages.
Okay. Do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
I don't know. Might have been a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you ever deliver like Amazon packages or anything?
Well, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So do you think you may have? Did they ever? Did they
He said he doesn't know.
Been on her property? You're not sure.
Nah, they just came up. They. Until right now, all I know is that they show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they supposedly look like my eyes.
Right. Okay.
That's it. That's all I know.
So that man says he worked in the Tucson area. He delivers packages. We try to clarify if he was ever at Nancy Guthrie's house. He wasn't sure. And he says investigators showed him a picture of a person in a mask. So we believe that is, perhaps one of the surveillance photos that was released yesterday of the person in the mask at Nancy Guthrie's house. Ultimately, Carlos told us he was questioned, asked about his whereabouts. They took his phone, and that's it. He says he's a free man. He wants his name cleared. He doesn't want to be associated with the Guthrie case. So it's not quite clear what investigators got from this search. Perhaps they'll be able to extract something from his cell phone, or I don't know, perhaps DNA. Back to you guys.
Wow, Matt, I mean, fantastic job on getting that interview, and you're one of the only people to so far speak to him after this night that he's had with law enforcement. Just your sense on who he is, and did anything strike you about him, his willingness to speak to you? What are your thoughts on him as a person?
That's tough, man.
Yes,
want to be left alone.
I talked to one of the neighbors, and they say that he's a part of a family group that lives here. And shortly after investigators got here, a woman came out from the house as well who identified herself as Carlos's mother-in-law. And she said, look, we've kind of loosely heard of this Nancy Guthrie case, but we're not following it. And she actually said that investigators told her that they were tipped off that Nancy Guthrie was being held here.
Amy said they still have his phone. Man, listen, I hope he has a great alibi if they got his phone. I wouldn't have. I would have said, lawyer. Y'all ain't taking my phone. What the heck?
This is what she said on camera. And she goes, there's no one here. Feel free to enter. So she seemed pretty transparent. A lot of times people claim they don't, know anything about a case. Maybe they do. But Carlos seemed the same way. He said, look, I told him I have nothing to do with this. You could enter my home. You could do whatever you would like. He seemed pretty forthright. And, you know, afterwards, the Pima County Sheriff's Department said that this search had been wrapped up and they had not identified Carlos as a suspect. They had not arrested him, had not taken him into custody. Wow. So, you know, at this hour, he remains a free man. Perhaps that will change based on his cell phone or some other evidence they, you know, removed from this search tonight. But in general, it seems like if they had something that directly linked Carlos to, you know, the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, a case that is getting worldwide attention, Carlos would not be a free man at his home tonight. But perhaps that'll change.
Did Carlos, in those sort of that eye contact that you can only have with somebody when you're on scene, we really can't get that sense just from watching on the video. Did he give you a sense that he thinks he is in the clear and this is all done with regard to Carlos, with the exception of the phone, which I believe you reported is still in the possession of law enforcement?
No, heck no. That would not be me.
Yeah, and you know, he based on his eyes and the surveillance photos, I would say, you know, there are some similarities, and his stature may be the same, like his height.
No, he's too short.
So, you know, just connecting some of the dots, is it possible he resembles the person in that surveillance photo? Yes, that is possible, and he said that investigators perhaps indicated as much. But
all right, well, let's hear from Carlos, because you know, what people's impression was is one thing. What the man said himself is another thing. And we're actually going to hear from his mother-in-law, because now she's saying that her house was searched as well. We'll get into that shortly. Check this out from Carlos.
Carlos, so sorry to bother you, man. What's your first and last name so we can get it right?
Carlos Palazuelos.
Okay, and you were apprehended for questioning. How would you describe what happened to you?
Terrifying. Something I didn't do for something. I was being like, I felt like I was being kidnapped, bro, because they didn't tell me anything at the beginning.
And investigators showed up to this house, or were you the one who was pulled over in the traffic stop?
I was the one that was pulled over at the traffic stop.
Where was that?
Right here on.
He doesn't have the same build at all.
Okay, and you were taken into custody at that point?
Yeah.
And you were
questioned? I was being detained.
Detained, okay.
I was detained the whole time.
Okay,
That's what they told me.
Where were they holding you?
At the back of a car.
Back of a
Miranda car, and then they moved me into a Pima County Sheriff.
Were you being questioned in the car?
At the Miranda car, I was being questioned, but they only asked me for my first name, my last name, my date of birth, and my social.
Okay. What were they asking you about?
My whereabouts.
Okay.
Where do I work? Where was I? And all that. But
are you ever up in Tucson?
Yeah, I work in Tucson.
What do you do?
GLS, deliver packages.
Okay. Do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
I don't know. I agree.
Might have been a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you ever deliver like Amazon packages or anything?
Well, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So do you think you may have? Did they indicate that you might have been on her property? You're not sure.
Nah, they just came up. They until right now, all I know is that they show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they supposedly look like my eyes.
Right. Okay.
That's it. That's all I know.
Okay. Gee.
I'm not seeing it.
How do you think they connected that case to you?
I'll go ask them, bro.
Okay, so
that's something you gotta ask them. I can't answer that question.
Did they take anything from your house tonight?
Nah, I don't know. All I can say is they took my phone.
Took your phone.
Right.
You don't have your phone right now.
No.
Okay. What else? What else happened?
That's it. That's all I can say. Like I said, I'm done with the questions, bro.
Yeah.
Can you just let us?
Yes, absolutely.
¿Se llevaron tu teléfono?
Sí, se lo llevaron. Y no me lo van a regresar.
Dude, spell your.
Yeah, so he's saying, so they still have your phone. He's like, yep, they still got my phone. Sorry about that. And he also did a more in-depth interview we're going to play here in a second. But I want to pull up this picture just so we can see it. So this is the man here. This is the picture. I'm not seeing it. This person just looks, they look taller than Carlos is. So again, I mean, it's really tough to tell. Really tough to tell. This person looks way taller and even, no offense, Carlos, a little bit more lean as well. Amy posted this as well. She said Carlos P., who was detained for questioning in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, was released. He told the media he wasn't asked questions and his vehicle was also released, but he didn't get his phone back.
Are you shocked?
Oh, yeah, I was. Come on, what do you expect me to do? ¿Cómo quieres que reaccione cuando algo pasa así? Pero yo no sé qué está pasando. Me agarraron como si fuera un criminal, me secuestraron. They held me against my will. They didn't give me my rights until 2 hours later. Okay? You know what I mean? My wrist is all fucking swollen. From the handcuffs. Like,
that's crazy.
Any idea
No.
that this was about
No.
him? Do you know who Nancy Guthrie
No.
is?
That's the problem. No, I don't know anything.
You were like, where is this coming from?
How did they come up on you?
I don't know.
Like, what, were you just driving around?
Yeah, working.
Yeah, they said you were delivering DoorDash?
Yes.
Oh,
How'd they pull up on you? Like,
Nah, I pulled up with them. They were following me. Yeah, they were following me. Miranda. This is Santa Cruz County, and Miranda was down here. It's like, come on, 2 and 2.
and so then when they came up on you, what did they say? Like, what did they say?
I don't know. What do y'all think?
Literally nothing. They just told me, stop moving. Like, what's your name? Carlos. And that's it. They put me in the cop car. You gotta wait like 2 hours. I waited like 2 hours until the detectives came here and everything.
oh my God.
When they finally told you this had to do with some kidnapping, like, what were you thinking?
What the fuck am I doing here? I didn't do anything. To be honest, like, I'm innocent.
And you don't even know who the lady is? Do you know who Savannah Guthrie
No,
is?
no. I
Nothing.
don't follow the news.
Right.
I don't watch.
You don't watch the Today Show?
Most people don't.
So this was a complete shock.
It was.
What kind of questions were they asking you?
Nothing. They didn't ask me no questions.
So they just said
nothing. They just sat me in the car. They investigated my car and this van, and that's it. They didn't ask me no questions, no nothing.
Did you get the other car
That's
back?
wild, man.
Or they still have it?
No, it's right there.
Oh, they gave it back to you. So.
Yeah, it's like.
And they said you can go home.
Yeah.
And how did they treat, like, the people you were with, your girl, your child?
I don't want to speak about that.
understood.
You know what I mean?
How's your family? They
Well, they're
scared
already
everybody. I was going to say, they scared everybody.
Yeah, I can imagine. That would be crazy.
Did they damage the house? Yeah.
What did he do to the house?
They broke the doors. What else there? The garage door in the back.
So what are you going to do now?
I don't try to clear my name. I didn't do anything. I mean, I hope they get the suspect. Because I'm not it. They better do their job and find the suspect that did it so they can clear my name. And I'm done. Just look at what I'm putting my family through.
You're on
Not just
national
them.
news now.
Not just them. You're my
They're putting the
friends
mic in his
too,
face.
Yeah.
He said, get that mic out of my
She was
face.
saying it doesn't look anything like it.
Yeah, see? That's what I'm telling you guys. Like, what the fuck? Come
Why
on.
do you think they came here? Why
He's
do you think
pissed.
they-
I don't blame him.
Hey, if I would have known that answer, I would have given it to you. But I don't.
All right, so let's actually hear from his mother-in-law, who the police came to and had questions for her as well. And shout out to Colin for posting this over on X. He says, the woman says the FBI searched her house. They told her they received a tip that Nancy Guthrie was inside. Well, they just running up on everybody. This woman says she is the mother-in-law of the person who was detained. We know Carlos P. Not going to try and pronounce his last name. They came out telling us that somebody gave a tip that the lady was in her house. They're investigating my son-in-law. He's not have anything to do with that either. He's a delivery guy. He does like FedEx or something like that, she says. Here we go. Let's see what she had to say.
No, they came out telling us that they had somebody gave a tip that the lady was in my house. I don't know her name. ¿Cómo se llama? Nancy Guthrie. That we don't know.
She said,
we don't know her at all. I don't know who she is. I don't know anything about her. They only said that they gave a tip that she was in my house. And I told them, you can go in and search my house. There's nobody there. I have nothing to hide. There's nobody in my house. And I don't know what's going on. I mean,
Any family members that might know?
no, they're investigating my son-in-law. He's not have nothing to do with that either. I don't know else.
What's his name?
It's Carlos Palazuelo. They have nothing to do with it either. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
They're just invading my property. I told them they're going in and out of my house, taking a lot of pictures and everything. I mean, like I told them, we're not hiding anything. I give them permission. You can go and search. There's nothing in my house. You won't find anything because we don't have nothing to hide.
Is this your son-in-law's vehicle?
The one that was on the side of the, that's my daughter's vehicle.
So what is your son's name?
My daughter.
Your daughter?
Yeah, that's
So do you live in? It's her husband. So it's your son-in-law.
Yeah,
who
my
they
son.
took away.
Yeah.
And Carlos and his last name?
Palazuelos. Yeah. He has nothing to do with that
Did
either.
he ever say anything about Nancy Guthrie?
Nothing. We never. Like I told the FBI, the investigator, if I knew anything about her, I said I saw her on Facebook, but I didn't read what was going on with her because I don't know her and I don't have the right to. I mean, if I don't know anybody, I won't read the story. I just go over, keep on going on my phone because I don't know her.
So how did this all happen?
I don't know.
Were you home when this thing?
No, I was coming from Tucson. when they had my son outside the house. They broke in my house without a warrant or nothing. They broke my door. They went inside my house. My son was playing on Nintendo. He had his headphones on. They got him and put him in a cuff and took him outside. And then they asked him what's going on. They didn't say anything. Do you have a search warrant? They said they don't have any search warrant by this. And they still asking, do you still have a search warrant? And they don't give me an answer.
Does your son-in-law ever go to Tucson?
He works in Tucson.
What does he do?
He's a delivery guy. He does FedEx or something like that.
Okay.
That's what he works on.
And so you're not allowed to go home right now?
No, they wanted us in. They kept going in and out of my house, taking pictures. And I don't know why. I mean, your son was the one that was detained. Yeah, he was detained for. They showed me a video to see if it was him. To see if he. Yeah, he's my son-in-law. Okay. If I recognize the thing he was wearing, he doesn't have any of that. He doesn't have anything that comes on the video.
Was it surveillance footage?
From the house, I think from home. Yeah, they showed me the picture.
Now, there's also another video that I keep seeing. Again, this hasn't been verified, but I want to play this because I've seen this several times, especially on X. And this may be the video that got Carlos in trouble. They say from Breitbart News, again, hey, it is what it is. Seeking the public's help to identify someone, the Pima County Sheriff's Department out of Arizona published footage showing what appears to be a man posing as a delivery driver, sneaking a peek into an apartment using a cell phone. Ooh, is this why they got Carlos? Carlos, what were you doing? Is this him? I'm going to mute this because the music is annoying. That doesn't even look like Carlos. Or does it? And why is this person... This was released by the Pima County Sheriff's Department, by the way. So maybe they saw this video as well and said, oh, I think that's Carlos because he just said he's a delivery driver. It doesn't look like him, though. Especially you could see the ears. This person's a little bit bigger. Oh, man, what a mess. What a mess, guys. Let me know what you think about this in the comments and in the chat. We're going to keep looking into it and seeing what we can find. Wow. Insane, y'all. Thank you to everybody that's in here. Y'all saying it's not him? No package. Is it something? Is it nothing? Is it everything? Who knows? Who knows, man? This case is so weird. This guy looks tall and looks to have shorter hair. They got the same. Why does everybody have the same hairdo, though? Everybody's got the same hair. I think that's what's throwing them off. And we already heard from the mother-in-law. I've actually gotten another interview that Carlos did, but we might do that a little bit later. I want to see what some of y'all are saying. And thank you again to everyone who liked the video. It looks like nearly 100% of y'all have liked the video. So thank you again. Amy says the picture was taken after the fact. Camera is still on the door. Blood on the ground. So, which means they came out of the front door. How else would the blood get there? Great point. Who knows? Y'all are saying this is a script. I'm throwing Mexican shade. Hey, listen, you can't say it's Mexican shade for me pointing out what I'm clearly seeing. All right. It's not on me. Or Mexican shade. Hey, you get a round of applause for that one. Well done. Not the same person, different haircut, facial hair too. Shout out to the Mexicanos out here rocking the classic fade, classic beard. Oh man. That ain't no Carlos. They're wrong. This is after the missing date. Yes, they came out of the front door. This is a political script. Hey, listen, I have my theories. I've shared with, I've shared them with Amy, off the live stream. Again, this is playing out exactly the way I thought it would, and Amy will verify this in the chat. She can choose to or not, but the entire arrest of Carlos, I called this. I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. even before they named the suspect, I told Amy in confidence that this was going to happen. I think part of this is happening for a reason, and I'll just leave it at that. Now, Nancy Guthrie, obviously a real person, obviously missing, but the other parts into this, yeah, there's something there. They have nothing. I agree. That was Jose, not Carlos. All right, now we're starting going down the path that's gonna lead us to a place we want to go. So we might have to end it there. Thank y'all for the love, man. Shout out to everybody who supported. Big shout out and thank you to Stephen G for dropping the 8 bomb over there, representing in Australia. Thank you to Ducky Dexter, Virginia Wiley, and of course, my beautiful, awesome, amazing Amy E. I think I'm gonna read a couple more comments and then we'll get out of here because I know y'all are in there cooking. Yes, the person they eventually arrest for this crime will look a certain way so it fits the Fed's narrative. I'm not gonna talk about that on this live stream, but I think you have a valid point there. Amy says planted. Nothing like pressure and Savannah scripted plea. Well, yeah. Yeah, the FBI definitely helped her with that. Thanks for covering. Taco Tuesday saying peace. So we're going to go ahead and get it out of here. If y'all haven't yet, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time we go live. We're going to be dropping several videos throughout the day. If y'all haven't seen the update about what's going on in Fulton County, make sure you check out that video. I covered it last night, and I actually am going to be dropping another video covering the next section of what's happening here in Fulton County. The search warrant was released. There's a lot of probable cause when it comes to this 2020 election and why the FBI is looking into Fulton County. It's going to be interesting. Y'all make sure you check it out. As always, have a great rest of your day. You know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We gone. Peace. Appreciate y'all, man. Make sure you comment on the live stream too.